Ever since humans realized they live on a rock in space, they have dreamed of colonizing another planet. Unfortunately, there are currently no truly habitable planets in our solar system. Your only chance is to leave the solar system and search for the next planet in interstellar space. Coincidentally, scientists have discovered a highly probable candidate, Kepler-452b. This exoplanet is a super-Earth orbiting a star very similar to our Sunday. Kepler-452b is slightly older than Earth and sits comfortably within the habitable zone of its host star, Kepler-452. It could be the perfect planet for future human settlement, or it might show us what the future holds for Earth, and that ending might not be pretty. Although Kepler-452b is highly likely to be habitable, we still don't know enough about it. So today, we'll have to trouble you to take a trip there yourself to see if it's truly livable. You will personally go there to investigate and report back to us. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Now, you need to know a bit about your destination. It's called Kepler-452b, and it looks similar to Earth, just larger and older. Current speculations suggest it could be a paradise, or it could be an uninhabitable hell. At a distance of 1,799 light-years from Earth, the flight time is longer than my lifespan. This will be a long journey for you. Even if you were stuffed into the Parker Solar Probe, the fastest spacecraft currently built by humanity and launched at a speed of 193 kilometers per second, it would still take you at least 2.8 million years to get there. That's too slow. Even if you could travel at near the speed of light, a one-way trip to Kepler-452b would take exactly 1,799 years. And if you wanted to send a message from Kepler-452b back to Earth, it would also take 1,799 years to arrive. Therefore, to get you there as quickly as possible, a wormhole needs to be created. Regarding wormholes, you can imagine space as a sheet of paper. A wormhole is like folding this paper and poking a hole through it, allowing you to arrive directly at Kepler-452b on the other side. This idea originally came from Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen, who called it the Einstein-Rosen bridge. The problem with this bridge is that it can be highly unstable, potentially collapsing even before you reach your destination. However, this is purely theoretical. To ensure this video can be completed, I will set up a stable wormhole to guarantee your journey goes smoothly. Traveling through a wormhole isn't like in sci-fi movies where it only takes a few seconds. It might take minutes or even hours. But regardless, you will successfully complete the interstellar crossing and arrive at your destination. Now that you've made it out of the wormhole alive, what unfolds before your eyes is your target star for this trip, Kepler-452. It is the only sun in this star system, and Kepler-452b is the only planet orbiting it. You need to pay attention. This star is not simple. Our sun is about 4.5 billion years old, in the prime of its life, but the big guy in front of you is already 6 billion years old. You could say it has entered its old age, but stars get more volatile as they age. It is 10% larger than our sun and 20% brighter. In a sense, what you are looking at right now is the dying future of our own solar system. Mars might be the only rocky planet left. Speaking of planets, look, that is Kepler-452b. Its orbital distance is about the same as the distance from the Earth to the Sunday. That's right, it's exactly in the legendary habitable zone. It looks incredibly beautiful from space. But don't just stare at it, look at the data on the dashboard. This planet is 1.6 times larger than Earth, but its mass is 5 times that of Earth. What does this mean? It means that once you go down there, the gravity you experience will be twice that of Earth's surface. I know you didn't travel all this way just to zone out in orbit, so hold on to the handrails. You're about to plunge into the atmosphere and land. Although the process was bumpy, fortunately the landing was successful. This spacecraft was expensive, but it held up. Now, you are standing on the ground. This planet has been hanging around in the habitable zone for billions of years, 1.5 billion years longer than Earth. This means that if life here started at the same time as on Earth, their current evolutionary level could be a full 1.5 billion years ahead of ours. Heaven knows what you might bump into here. With any luck, you might even meet some sexy aliens. But look around. There are indeed clouds, a few moons in the sky, and even a lake in the distance. At first glance, this place really does look like a paradise, except it's a bit hot. This is where the bad news begins. On Earth, we are just starting to worry about global warming, but this planet has long been sprinting down the path of a runaway greenhouse effect. If it ever had oceans, they would have evaporated completely long ago. Those lakes you see now are nothing but the last remaining dregs. Taking a couple of steps in this double gravity environment, don't you feel dead tired, struggling even to lift an arm? It feels like having a personal trainer glued to you 24/7, forcing you to do high-intensity weight training. And look at the thermometer, 49.5 degrees Celsius. The entire planet is a free hot yoga studio. On Earth, you'd have to buy a membership for this, but here, it's a mandatory around-the-clock complimentary service. Although it's a bit hot, for anyone looking to lose weight, this place is simply paradise. But for us humans looking for a new home, this is hardly a selling point. Besides the heat, the environment here is also extremely harsh. Even with a thick atmosphere blocking some of the radiation, this old star is still vicious. If you want to bare your skin and sunbathe here, take my advice. Honestly, keep your spacesuit on, and don't take off your helmet. You see water over there? Are you thirsty? Forget about it. Scans show that the water here has an extremely high mineral content. What is water to this planet is poison to you. You might wonder why the water on such a beautiful planet is undrinkable. If this is what Earth's future looks like, we'd better not move here. We should learn to protect Earth before humanity ruins it. Some planets get hot because their atmospheres are too thick, or they are too close to their suns. Remember Venus? Scientists say it was quite habitable 3 billion years ago, but then a runaway greenhouse effect turned it directly into a high-pressure hell. The place you are staying right now feels a bit like that. And look at those strange plants in the distance. They don't look friendly at all. Not only do they emit a foul stench, but they also look like they want to bite your head off at any moment. It's best to stay away. All right, the investigation is over. The conclusion is obvious. This so-called perfect backup Earth is actually a terrifying trailer for Earth's future. Since that's the case, you'd better evacuate immediately. You press the return button, ready to calculate the fuel for the trip home, but unfortunately, the dashboard shows insufficient fuel, so you might not be able to make it back. But don't panic. There's a reason you're trapped here. It's not just about the high gravity making it hard to walk. On a planet with twice the gravity of Earth, the energy required to leave it also increases exponentially. This is called escape velocity, which is the speed needed to break free from a planet's gravitational pull and fly into space. On Earth, you only need to reach 11.2 kilometers per second, but on this massive and heavy Kepler-452b, you need to reach 19.8 kilometers per second. To achieve this speed, the energy you need is almost 4 times that on Earth. In other words, the little fuel you brought is nowhere near enough to propel this spacecraft out. So, I regret to inform you that you are out of gas, and you can't go back. I know some people find it thrilling to watch astronauts perish in space, but reality is lonely. Waiting to die is no fun at all. It's neither as thrilling as being crushed, nor as spectacular as being blown up. Now, it's just you left on this planet, along with the artificial intelligence in the spacecraft, the only entity you can talk to. You'll just have to make do with each other for the rest of your days. To kill time, you pick up a rock and skip it across the lake. The rock breaks the calm of the surface, but immediately after, you hear a strange, loud noise that sounds like the lake just farted. It seems that rock caused some trouble. Immediately, alarms blare, detecting an extremely high concentration of carbon dioxide. Although you can't smell it because carbon dioxide is colorless and odorless, for an oxygen-breathing creature like you, this is the Grim Reaper arriving. This is called a limnic eruption. The highly concentrated layer of carbon dioxide water originally resting at the bottom of the lake, if disturbed by an earthquake or even a minor landslide, will instantly surge upward, spewing lethal gas into the sky like popping a champagne bottle. By the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late. Alarms blare, detecting an extremely high concentration of carbon dioxide. To make matters worse, your visor was cracked by a flying rock. Even the slightest bit of lethal toxic gas will instantly flood in. Furthermore, carbon dioxide is heavier than air. This toxic gas cloud won't dissipate into the upper atmosphere, but will spread close to the ground like an invisible river. Wherever it passes, any oxygen-breathing organism will suffocate to death. Now you feel a sharp pain in your chest, unable to breathe. Oxygen levels drop to zero, and your heartbeat stops. Unfortunately, there is truly nothing left here now but a lonely spacecraft. Although Kepler-452b looks a lot like Earth at first glance, seeing isn't always believing. This older cousin of Earth has actually long since become uninhabitable. It seems we'll have to look elsewhere for Earth too. As for the next expedition, maybe I can go instead. Every time you look up, you might be locking eyes with aliens, and the reason we can't find them might be absurdly simple. Imagine frantically using your phone to search for people nearby, only to find that you are the only person on the entire Earth. Those extraterrestrial life forms might be as primitive as the bugs beneath your feet, but you don't realize that the smartphone you just pulled out symbolizes the supreme level of civilization in the universe. This isn't science fiction. It's a bold speculation by scientists regarding the rare Earth hypothesis. Logically, with the universe being so vast, alien civilizations should be everywhere, like mosquitoes in summer. But this theory suggests that Earth is not an ordinary isolated island, but rather a cursed gold mine. Hello, Earthlings. Welcome to Old Ma's Mystery Club. Next, let's embark together on this ultimate journey to find aliens. Have we always been too presumptuous? We always assume that as long as a civilization develops long enough, it will inevitably build spaceships, master radio, and venture into the universe, right? In our eyes, these are simply matters of course. Scientists even have the famous Drake equation, which multiplies the number of stars, the number of planets, and the probability of life emerging, just like solving a math problem, ultimately arriving at the exciting conclusion that there should be at least thousands of civilizations in the Milky Way. Numbers don't lie, right? The formula is so perfect, and the logic is so clear. So, we built massive radio telescopes and listened to the universe day and night, terrified of missing a single hello from our neighbors. But the result? Dead silence. A suffocating, boundless dead silence. This is completely illogical. It's as if you walked into a megacity, supposedly filled with people, only to find the streets completely empty and all the rooms dark and silent. That feeling isn't disappointment, it's eerie. So, where exactly is the problem? Was the formula calculated incorrectly, or is our imagination of civilization fundamentally flawed? Perhaps aliens don't want to avoid coming. Rather, they simply cannot come, because we might have made a colossal mistake right from the start. For a long time, we have believed that all civilizations would develop along the same path as ours, from stone tools to iron tools, to steam engines, to electricity, and then to microchips and rockets. We thought the technology tree was singular, something every intelligent species would inevitably unlock. But what if this seemingly logical path is actually an exclusive channel opened only by a 1 in a billion lucky winner? What if the very first prerequisite for unlocking modern technology is itself an extremely rare luxury in the universe? This luxury is hidden right beside us, so ordinary that it's almost forgotten by us. Rare earth elements. So let's re-examine ourselves. The smartphones in our hands, the electric vehicles we drive, the MRI machines in hospitals, and even laser-guided equipment in the defense sector. What exactly is the brilliance of all this technological civilization built upon? Is it silicon? Is it iron? Is it code? No, these are just the actors on the stage. The ones truly building this stage of modern technology are the silent directors hidden behind the scenes, rare earth elements. They are called rare earths, but they aren't Earth at all. They are 17 metallic elements, like a group of magicians with distinct personalities. They are used in such minuscule amounts that you might completely ignore their existence, but without them, the entire modern world would instantly collapse, as if its skeleton had been pulled out. Imagine your phone suddenly stops vibrating, your headphones go mute, and the colors on your phone screen become dismally pale because the neodymium and terbium inside have disappeared. Imagine further, the motors of electric vehicles lose their power to turn, the blades of wind turbines slowly grind to a halt, and fighter jet engines fail because the neodymium and terbium inside have gone on strike. See? They are everywhere. They are not just one of the options. They are the only option. In many cutting-edge technological fields, we have yet to find any substitutes. They are the technological vitamins of modern civilization lack even a little, and the entire system malfunctions. Then a terrifying question arises. What if, on another planet, an intelligent species as smart as humans developed their own civilization and had their own Newton and Einstein, but their planet simply lacks such rich deposits of rare earth elements? Where would their civilization head? They might remain forever stuck in the world of theoretical science. They could conceptualize electromagnetic waves, but failed to build a real radio transmitter. They could calculate rocket trajectories, but fail to find the materials to manufacture high-temperature resistant turbine blades and highly efficient permanent magnet motors. They would be forever locked on their own planet. They would look up at the night sky and understand the laws governing the movement of the stars, yet never be able to touch them. They could hear the silence of the universe, but be unable to broadcast any sound of their own into it. Therefore, the technological explosion we are so proud of might not be a historical inevitability at all. It is more like a gamble where we hit the jackpot, and the first and most crucial chip in this gamble is the inconspicuous dirt beneath our feet known as rare earths. So, where exactly did this crucial chip come from? Why is our Earth so lucky? The answer points to a cosmic legend, spanning billions of light years and billions of years. These rare metals were not born alongside the Earth. Their origins lie in the most violent and magnificent funerals in the universe, supernova explosions, and the even more extreme neutron star mergers. Imagine stars, many times heavier than the Sun, at the end of their lives, hurling the vast majority of their matter deep into the universe in an earth-shattering explosion. In this indescribable energy storm, atoms are torn apart and crushed, as if these heavy rare earth elements were barely forged in a god-tier particle collider. But this is only the first step. These manufactured seeds must be precisely sown in the right places. They need to drift through the vast interstellar medium and be coincidentally captured by a primordial nebula that is giving birth to a star system. Our solar system is exactly that lucky nebula. However, the ordeal was not over. In the early days of the young Earth's formation, when it was still a scorching ball of magma, the vast majority of the heavy rare earth elements sank irretrievably deep into the center of the Earth, much like iron blocks sinking to the bottom of the water, becoming sealed within the core that we can never reach. If the story ended here, there would be almost no rare earths available on the Earth's surface, and the fate of humanity would be entirely different. But Lady Luck smiled once again. Over the long eons that followed, Earth, this complex and active geological mixer, began to operate. Massive tectonic plate movements acted like a slow but ceaseless conveyor belt, churning the sparse, rare earth elements deep within the mantle, those that had luckily avoided sinking into the core bit by bit over millions of years, up to the shallow layers of the crust. Coupled with the subsequent refining by scorching magma and flowing water, they were ultimately concentrated and enriched into mineral veins in specific geological tectonic zones. So you see, the origin of the smartphone in our hands requires incredibly stringent conditions. It requires the most extreme events in the universe to act as alchemists, precise interstellar logistics for door-to-door delivery, and Earth's perfectly tuned internal engineering to purify and concentrate. If even one of these links goes wrong, everything we possess today would cease to exist. Now, let's return to the initial question about alien civilizations. Do you still think such a chain of luck, strung together by countless coincidences, can be seen everywhere in the universe? No. Now is the moment to arrive at the core conclusion. Therefore, we can finally piece together this thought-provoking picture. The rare earth hypothesis does not assert that there are no rare earth elements in the universe. Instead, it proposes a more profound viewpoint: the probability of forming highly concentrated minimal rare earth deposits that are easily accessible to an early industrial civilization, like those on Earth, might be unimaginably low in the universe. The difference is akin to the vast ocean containing countless gold elements. It is absolutely impossible to forge a crown from those dispersed gold atoms. Earth's fortune lies in the fact that cosmic alchemy and Earth's geological activities work together to pre-smelt heavy gold ingots for us, burying them in shallow layers within our reach. Thus, the answer to the great silence that has troubled us for so long might finally surface. It has nothing to do with the dark forest theory, nor is it about civilizations inevitably destroying themselves. A more fundamental and brutal great filter might have existed long before all of that. Technological lockdown. Imagine that on countless vibrant planets, intelligent life may have already emerged. They might look up at the stars and construct exquisite philosophical and scientific systems, but they cannot unlock the skill tree of electronic technology because they lack the most crucial, irreplaceable catalyst: rich rare earth deposits. Without it, powerful permanent magnets, highly efficient lasers, and precise sensors cannot be created. They might never be able to convert their voices into radio waves and transmit them among the stars. Their civilizations are forever imprisoned on their own planets, trapped in an advanced yet unbreakable silence, bound by planetary shackles. Therefore, the technological era we enjoy today is highly likely not a broad avenue that all civilizations must pass through, but rather a precarious single-log bridge built from countless cosmic coincidences. When we look up at the starry sky again, that silence is no longer frustrating. Instead, it is filled with a brand new, profound significance. Earth might not be an ordinary isolated island, but a lonely and precious lighthouse that accidentally lit a faint lamp in the boundless darkness. The smartphones in our hands and the interconnected world we have created might not be the norm for civilizations, but rather an almost impossible miracle in the universe. This gives us a completely new understanding of our own existence. We are not ordinary passers-by in the universe, but perhaps the 1 in a billion lucky ones, shouldering the entire responsibility of sustaining this faint spark. So, do you think there are other lucky civilizations in the universe? Let's chat in the comments section.